is Michael Keithley. I'm the CIO at United Talent Agency. I'm responsible for all the traditional IT stuff, and I do a lot of other technology-related things for the agency and for our clients. I was working with one of the co-founders at another company, and he said he was going to leave and create a startup to address one of the challenges that not only I had, but I think every CIO on planet Earth has around software delivery. And so I was intrigued, and kind of the rest is history, as they say. The dirty little secret of our industry is that I don't know exact statistics, but it's something in the order of only like one every 5 or 6 projects finish on time and on budget. And it's something that we have, just as technology executives, I think, gotten used to and accepted. And it's, if you step back, it's horrible, you know. And that was really one of the promises, one of the things that got me excited about Bloomfilter, was that, you know, you were really going to try to tackle addressing that dirty little secret. And it really promised to solve an age-old problem, actually 3 problems. You know, what are we building exactly? How much is it going to cost? And when is it going to ship? All right, those seem like pretty obvious things. But I could never, and nobody in a leadership role could really honestly say, you know, what those 3 things were going to be, because it was more of an art than a science. And I think Bloomfilter is now, you know, really provides visibility to those things and transparency such that you can answer those questions with confidence. And it also really, the other thing that I think has been kind of one of my pet peeves over the years, you know, being, you know, a CIO, is we always talk about, you know, alignment with the business and a seat at the table and that stuff. And it gets to be kind of whiny over time. And Bloomfilter really, at least for software, creates alignment between the business and IT, because it makes the entire process, you know, observable and predictable and efficient. And that's the promise that really got me excited about and why I wanted to try Bloomfilter. My initial impression was it was too good to be true. Really, we're trying to address this age-old challenge with the SDLC. But over time, I got to see and I really understood the kind of concept of process mining and the approach and the data, and the fact that it was really just reflecting back in thoughtful ways and graphs and you know, logic, what was really happening. And once, you know, I got the trust that was really a true reflection, you know, I was all in. It was crazy easy, and that's part of the reason I was kind of skeptical. Literally, you just have to give access to Jira and just, you know, it was so easy. It really caused a whole conversation with my CISO, like, wait, that was way too easy. I was able to do it. You know, I'm a little concerned about, you know, other products, and kind of got an education about that integration process. But once we did that, then the other thing that I really was impressed with was it's hard for me to even say it so straight face now, but, you know, everybody's got AI this, AI that, and it's all the rage right now. But really, the AI that you guys use, that Bloomfilter uses to map kind of our structure and the way our Jira and GitHub and et cetera is structured, and the tags and stuff to Bloomfilters, was amazing. And I think it got, you know, maybe 90% of it right out of the box. And that was, you know, a surprise, a pleasant surprise. And then the last 10% was really easy to just kind of make those maps and click a button and then just wait for it to process the data. It was great. Today, it's you know, kind of the usual suspects, right? It's engineering, it's product, it's project management, and, you know, they use it in daily stand-ups and kind of all the ceremonies, the sprint planning and reviews and things like that. And it provides, you know, obvious value to them. But we're also using it in leadership. So, you know, the heads of those departments, myself, others, direct reports I have, are using it because it really can help us to see where we are on our contribution to the company's strategic initiatives, and to really understand kind of the business value that we're creating, or the team is creating with software. And then it also allows us to, as kind of management or leadership, to identify kind of any issues much earlier on in the process than we would have in the past. It allows us to prevent delays or ask or figure out how, one of the biggest things is, hey, I noticed this, how can I help? And sometimes I can, and sometimes I can't, but at least knowing what the issues are is really valuable. And then longer term, I really hope that certainly finance across the board, not just FP&A, but the whole finance organization, as far as budgeting and planning and just everything, will really get on the platform and involved. And then I also really hope to open this up to the business leaders, right? One of the biggest challenges is historically with software, and if only 1 in 6 projects is on time and on budget, is going out there to status or tell the CMO or the C-suite or the department head or whoever it is what the status of their project is, right? And before Bloomfilter, I always, and many of my peers, have had challenges around, if you have a 1-year project, it's green, it's red, and it's too late, right? And then I have to be the one to deliver that. I've been saying we're on track, everything's good. And this actually gives me what's really happening. So much earlier on, it's kind of a shift left kind of thing where I can find out much earlier in the process where we really are, and if there are delays or there are issues or there are scope things or what have you. We can identify those and have a conversation earlier on, and that's just huge for me. The bulk of it is, custom dev, software development, but we're also using it extremely successfully for Salesforce. And, you could argue that might be custom, that might be development or not, but it's kind of half and half. But we've had a lot of success with our Salesforce project and implementations. We're going through a whole ERP kind of redo and simplification. And we have, NetSuite as the core, but we have, 7 to 10 other kind of really important financial related apps that we're doing. And it's governing all those projects, once again, very successfully. And quite frankly, I hope in the long run, every project, no matter what we're doing, we'll be leveraging Bloomfilter. The big thing is I get instant clarity on where the projects stand, like what's actually happening, right? It's no more PowerPoints or Excels or meetings or any kind of filters. I actually know what's happening, and that's huge. And like I said, one of the very first things we found was we had a real bottleneck in QA, right? And we didn't have enough QA resources, and so things were really stacking up in that part. And it's painfully obvious to see it, in Bloomfilter. And so we hired more QA resources and, problem solved pretty quickly. And I don't know when or if. I imagine at some point we would have addressed that before Bloomfilter, but it would have been weeks or months later. And so that's super huge as far as value. And then, everyone on all the teams, I don't care what role you have on the team, what your work contributions are because they're visible and transparent. I find, the first time people see that, it's a little scary because they really can't hide. Once they embrace that, I think they really like that because it kind of highlights their work and their value contribution to business value. The totality of the software is super valuable, but as far as features, there's 2 that I think really super excite me, and one of them is the initiatives feature. This really allows me to kind of sync up my executive planning and strategy cycles and align that to the company. And we have a pretty robust short-term and longer-term strategic planning within the company. This now makes that much easier for me to align those things And then the second big feature that I'm super excited about, which we really haven't implemented as much yet, but we're in the process of doing it, is the financials feature, and that will really allow me to look at how much we're spending on a much more granular level, but whether it's by task or by point or point per month or what have you, and then really see how those numbers are trending. So it's going to give me, I hope, financial cost data that I've never been able to have before. We have a combination, we're kind of hybrid, not just working style, but hybrid in that we have, in-house developers and engineering talent, and we also outsource a lot, right? Now, this financial data is going to give me the ability to have metrics to really compare teams. Like my gut, we kind of have gut level instinct on, software development shop A versus software development shop B. One is kind of better at how they do their estimates. They deliver more, they have more, rock star programmers, 10x programmers, what have you. But it was all gut. And now I think the financial feature will really make that data-driven decision making. I would say the relationship is a work in progress, but they understand at a high level, a lot of what we do, it's voodoo magic, and it's hard for them to understand anything. It's hard for, us to put it in terms that they can understand. But I think it's really made a huge impact with the C-suite and the department heads as far as their projects. And that's because they can see that the decisions are based on data. It's not just a gut feeling. I'm not just going in there and kind of telling them some words. I'm pointing to and showing what's actually happening on their project, and that they get a lot more comfort out of that, and therefore it strengthens the relationship. I think it's going to take time, a year into it or something like that. We'll be able to look back and say, gosh, remember when we were kind of just pulling stuff out of thin air and hope and all that kind of stuff. But now we're, we can really accurately forecast stuff. We can accurately say what's going on, and we'll look back and laugh at how immature we were in the past. Just was talking about the financial module and features and how exciting that is, but I think the initiatives will really allow me to kind of create a straight line between the company's strategic initiatives and what we're doing to contribute to that. So that I'm super excited about as that continues to evolve. And then just, clarity on project timelines and cost and ROI, and the business unit leaders and finance and, kind of everybody will understand the transparency and clarity of what's actually happening. I've had in kind of a different context, but I think it makes sense here, is a concept of digital exhaust. And, it really started, a decade ago or something around what we call shadow IT. And when you look at what's actually happening, what people are actually doing, and take that as data, as feedback, I feel the same way about this. This is what's literally happening. This is what's happening in Jira. It's happening, when somebody does a pull request, that. And that provides the clarity and the data-driven ability that we never have had before. So that's what I'm excited about the future. I want to just double down and soak up more of it. Absolutely. I already have recommended it to many of my CIO friends, because I know everybody has this problem, and anybody who doesn't is lying, quite frankly. Anybody says, oh yeah, 90% of my projects are on time and on budget, I call BS. But most people say, oh my gosh, really? I need something like this. Bloomfilter just had a recent announcement with SoftServe, I think, as far as leveraging this tool set. And I think any big consulting SA firm, anybody that's doing software development in any way, should do a similar kind of thing. So I would recommend that to whether it's, the big guys or anybody in between. I think Bloomfilter really could help both them and the customer have a win-win situation.